What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, guys, welcome back, and I do appreciate support. Well, guys, I'm going to show you a story that proves you can't do nice things to bad people. And this story right here is out of Bed-Stuy, out there in New York. Shout out Bed-Stuy. That's in Brooklyn, right? Brooklyn in the house, no, without a doubt. Damn, I can't even talk right now. Anyway, this story right here ran me hot because I can relate to this story. This story right here is about a chick, a Juggernaut mom. I told you before, Juggernaut real, Juggernaut dangerous. That owes over $60,000 in unpaid rent and ain't paid rent in 3 years. How does something like this happen? I always wondered to myself. But then again, anything's possible with the Juggernaut female. I want you to look at how entitled this woman feels she is. And this is something a lot of real estate investors go through when they deal with this type of person. Take a look at this and we'll come back and talk about it.
Bed-Stuy landlord is battling to evict a tenant who has not paid rent in 3 years and owes tens of thousands of dollars. Thanks for joining us tonight here on News 12 Brooklyn. I'm Amanda Bossert. News 12's Daniela Rodriguez spoke with that landlord exclusively about the toll that this has taken on him and his family.
I'm gonna make them so scared to come out this building.
Words from a tenant who owes nearly $60,000 in back rent over the course of 3 years.
I'm trying to do the right thing, trying to go to the right channel, like within the law. But it's like I'm getting no results.
Kamar Lafayette says he's been fighting to get this tenant out of her apartment on the second floor.
She just doing the most outrageous things.
Lafayette ended up putting security cameras everywhere to prove she consistently violates rules, like smoking indoors, ripping off signs that say no garbage in the hallway, and lifting floorboards, causing a leak in the first floor apartment where his mother lives. She's also seen on camera leaving the front door wide open, which he says poses a safety risk to him and his family. One of the tenant's children answered the door, and when I asked for the tenant herself,
"You don't have anything to say?"
she said,
No.
10 minutes after I knocked on the door, the cops showed up. Lafayette says this situation is hurting his family, and all he wants is justice for landlords.
My mortgage is crazy. I can't go to the bank and tell the bank that I can't pay my mortgage. And for them, for 3 years, it's rough.
As court days are nearing, his only hope is that he continues to gather evidence to get her out of the apartment for good.
There you have it. Another person out here wanting the world to kiss their ass and think everything that they have, they're entitled to. Kids or not, I throw this motherfucker out on her ears. I wouldn't give a goddamn about it because she ain't thinking about the kids at the present moment while trying to show this man, this family, her ass to kiss. I'm gonna tell you something. This is honest with me. I'm gonna be honest with you. I have bought 2 properties within the last 10 years, right? First house I ever bought out here in Texas was right before Tegan was born, when Tegan was conceived, right? That's like almost 10 years ago. Buy the house, I'm doing well for myself. About a year and a half later, my wife at that time finds another house. Few blocks down the road, well, a couple miles down the road, neighborhood, better neighborhood. And I decided to buy that house. I go to use my VA loan for the house, didn't have to use it, thank God. We got 2 houses now. Can't live in 2 houses. So my wife at the time says, oh, I want to rent the house out. It's an affluential neighborhood. We should get somebody easy in there. I want to charge $2,400 a month. I said, okay, cool, right? Instead of doing what I told her, she goes and starts interviewing Section 8. She want to put up for Section 8 because she can get more money. Greedy shit. I told her, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? I said, because they're not going to vet truly who you are. Oh, well, they go through a screening process. I don't want to hear none of that shit. So she decides on somebody. One day I'm at work, I get off work. She decides on, you know, a person she wants to put in the house. I come around the corner, man, I'm telling you. I'm just being me. As soon as I see her, I say, hell to the fucking no. She got a big ass Jiffy Pop on her head, and it's an interview for our home. to rent a home. It's an interview. Like, you go through the screening process where they got to come and you talk to them and they meet you, see what kind of person you are. She come to a motherfucking interview. Dirty ass leggings on, gold teeth all up here, Jiffy Pop on her head. I tell my wife when she got her back turned, no. My wife says, okay, and signs her up to the place. I said, I told you not to do that. You know what happened? They were there for 3 months. Do you know what happened? They drilled holes in the house, started growing weed in the garage. She had she told us she had 4 kids. Come to find out she had 8 kids, all stair-stepped. Teenage boys she got, started selling drugs from in front of the house. And on top of that, they would sit in the car and hotbox all damn day. The neighbors didn't want to call the police because they thought they was us or relatives of ours. They didn't know that the house was being rented out. These motherfuckers, one of the kids broke into the neighbor's house across the street, caused all kind of problems on the block. Then we find out they doing all this crazy stuff. She done got a man in the house now. He fighting and they tearing up the house. It's crazy. Big thing about the whole thing is it was hard to get her out the house. It took 6 months. Once she got out the house, right, because we served her eviction papers, she decided not to pay, got her out the house, right? They took seafood, like boiled seafood, and everything they had in the fridge and stuck it in the damn air conditioning vents and then turned the heat on. Luckily, we went over there right at the time they was leaving, cussing as they went, and we caught it. It caused over like $60,000 in damages. They drilled holes in the back rooms, and the house was brick. They drilled holes through the back room, through the drywall, all the way through the brick outside to set up security cameras because they was growing weed and stuff in the thing. And they had all these cameras up. That wasn't in your contract. You can't just alter the house like that. That's the thing. You get a lot of rule breakers that once they move into a house, they act like that shit is theirs. And they ain't never had shit before, especially something of value that's really nice. That was a really nice home. You know what I'm saying? We wound up selling it over time, but it was just a pain in the ass to deal with somebody you want to do it a favor for. This woman right here is wrong. But in her head, you know what I'm saying? She thinks she's right. You ain't paid 3 years of rent. And every month when you know rent is due, you don't feel weird? Then you walking around these people, then they're in the house and they're renting part of the house with you. So you got to live with these people that you owe money to. If it was me, she'd have disappeared. Dead serious. If it was up to me, she would have disappeared. You got a hell of a nerve to be smoking up in there and doing all this, leaving the door open. Come on, there are guidelines this guy as a landlord has to follow and you to keep you safe, and you ain't following what you're supposed to do to keep them safe. Something happened to you, what happens to the place? None, you don't care. You got kids and not worrying about them. Police came right up there. If it was up to me, now you ain't a tenant no more, you're a squatter. If it was up to me, I'd have it where police show up and be like, you got to get the fuck out right now. Can I call? No, get out, start packing your shit and get the fuck out. This squatter shit and all this other shit where people want to give people their ass to kiss because they feel as though, because I paid you $1, you got to give me the sum total of all my rights are taken care of because I ain't got to pay nothing else because I'm a tenant and you can't do nothing to me. That's the thing. A lot of these people know the law and they know it's hard for them to get out of there. That's why they do this type of shit, even though they know it's going to come to an end that's not in their favor. What kind of human being is that? What kind of person are you? Who wants to be known as that? They showed your fucking face. You in the picture holding the camera at them, holding the camera at you. You're not doing nothing. You look stupid. And they'll put you on news and play you out like as always. Either way, man, I don't give a fuck. Can't help everybody. I told you before, Juggernaut real, Juggernaut dangerous. This woman right here, no excuse. No exception. Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. People will use you until they use you up. Sometimes it ain't even worth the trouble. Even if they look like you, they ain't on the same, they got the same jersey color as you, don't mean they ain't on the same team. You can see it right there. See you in the next video. Take care.